Hey guys, we're out in Podunk, Kentucky, and I'm not kidding. Podunk, Kentucky is where we are. We're as close to Tennessee, I guess, as you can get without being out of Kentucky. But we're down here with Cornerstone Engine Solutions. Jason Craddock's the owner, and he was nice enough to kind of give us a little info today on some stuff that we've been really curious about. And that's been, whether it's home, farm, or whatever it is, just off the grid power. So we're standing in front of a pretty cool outfit. This is a big chicken farm, and they got to have power 24/7 no matter what's going on, storms and what have you. And so you got them set up.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we put this in about a year ago, right? And obviously he's a brand new farmer. It's a new style of raising chickens and eggs in this area.
Right.
And we're really excited about it and really happy to have this opportunity.
Sure. So this is, which I didn't know, when I think of, these generators, and of course I wasn't expecting diesel power, which y'all do both, yep. Propane, natural gas, diesel. So how big is this one here, and then what can you tell us about it a little bit?
Yeah, this is a 60 kW, it's diesel as you said. It's made to run 24/7. It's a commercial grade generator. It's supposed to start within 30 seconds and transfer seamlessly if the power fails, and then turns back to utility power once that power is restored.
Sure.
It does have a few minutes delay. That way, if we have a in and out issue, like power's kicking on, kicking off.
Right.
But you're supposed to have a peace of mind. Just know that it's going to work. All you got to do is keep fuel and oil and a hot battery on it. And
right.
Let her go.
Is this in the diesel? This is the smallest unit, right?
This is the smallest one that Cummins offers.
Sure.
But most of the farms that we work on, this is the smallest you're going to see anyway. Right. There's a couple where they put in a generator to run 1 or 2 small barns, and it's like a 45.
Right.
But it usually goes up from here all the way to like a 250.
Yeah. And that's the other thing. These are Cummins.
Yeah.
Cummins, driven by Cummins, which is cool.
Right. Still got the old style rotary mechanical fuel pump,
Isn't that cool?
The reason we're talking about it is because we like to deal in farms, rural areas that power's just not available.
Right.
So
or not very dependable.
In the storms we have nowadays, I guess this is your saving grace right here for, especially in this case, chickens.
Right. If we ever had a ice storm, God forbid,
Sure.
This is your lifeline.
Oh yeah, yeah. Most common in a lot of residential areas are, the propane driven, the natural gas. So what size are they ranged at?
On the home unit?
Yes.
You can go anywhere from about a 10 kW up to a 26.
Okay.
Generac's coming out with a 28 kW, but it's not for sale yet.
Okay.
That's in the air-cooled style, which is the most economical option. But, you can get a 300 kW put on your house if you got enough
money.
For it.
Yeah.
So when we talk about kW, I'm no electrician. A lot of our viewers probably aren't either. Where your normal household, what would cover that to be considered? You always hear a whole home generator.
Yeah.
Well, when you're in a rural area, you've got a well pump. There's a lot of things that pull a lot of power. So tell us what you need right there to be considered a cover-all. So the lights, nothing ever changes.
So average size is about a 26 kW now, which right. Generac, Kohler, Briggs & Stratton all have those. Cummins is currently working on a 26. But a lot depends on your demand, obviously. If you've got electric heat, you're totally running on electric,
right.
You're going to need a bigger generator because of that. But if you have some natural gas heat or propane heat, you can have a lot smaller generator, like a 20 kW usually takes care of it, no problem.
Yeah.
But you can also, there's stuff like load management that we can put on there so you don't have to have such a big generator. But it's typically best to do one transfer switch and run the whole home.
Sure.
Instead of trying to break it up and just run different parts of the house, and then when the power's out, you're trying to figure out what you can run and what you can't.
Right. It seems like anymore we don't have a normal rain or a normal anything anymore.
Yeah.
No.
You think about Western Kentucky, we've got to go through the ice storm now, which everybody and their brother ran and got a generator.
Yep.
And a lot of them generators haven't been touched since then. They're still sitting in the garage, never got used. Where you go to something like this, they start up and do self-test on themselves ever so often, I guess.
Oh yeah.
So that keeps them fresh. Gas don't go old in them. Because how many generators have we run across that people?
It won't run.
Neglected.
Yeah, don't run. We don't
It
even
don't
use them
run.
anymore.
You run the gas out of it and
But yeah,
clean it up, then yeah.
so Western Kentucky, we look at the ice storm, we look at the Mayfield tornado.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like anymore. I just want to be prepared.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
because we don't know what we're going to hit with next.
No, being living off grid is, and that's what you're doing essentially, is becoming more common, or at least a forethought in a lot of people's minds anymore. You know, I was up a farm up in Livingston County a couple weeks ago, you know, and that's what they did. They got a small place. It's not, you know, it's not a big place. Didn't need a lot of current. You know, I could see on some of the units, smaller units, would it be economical for somebody that had a farm and they said, we got a hunting cabin on it, we're up here a couple weeks out of the year.
Yeah, I could see, especially if the power company's like it's going to cost $50,000 to come in there and put you a service in.
Right,
You know,
right.
you could buy a lot of fuel for that.
And what's the first thing somebody does in a lot of cases? They take it and they're like, oh, we want to be way back off the road, you know, and I get it, want to be, you know, have a cabin sitting back there. And that was the case of this one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was going to cost them an arm and leg because they had to cross creeks.
And a lot of, talking about hunting cabins, hunting farms, people aren't there but maybe just a select amount of weekends or weeks a year. So something like this I feel like would be awesome for that because
Yeah.
cut it off when you leave and you're done.
We have another line that's newer. It's called Wildcat Power, and they're based out of Kansas City, Missouri, and they specialize in making off-grid generators as well, and they're made to run as prime power. So while it is being used, it's made to run continuously too, where a lot of your home standbys and stuff, especially the air cools, you're supposed to run them for 8 to 16 hours and shut them off and let them cool down kind of thing. But these are made like a commercial generator, and they're really compact too, so it doesn't take a whole lot of space to put those in.
Right.
But they're pretty neat. There's something newer that we've gotten into and trying to get people more accustomed to that too.
So what are the brands that you carry?
So we have Generac, which everybody knows, and then we have Cummins, and then we have the Wildcat Power.
Wildcat.
That we just
so that's
talked
the
about.
3 that y'all have.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
For now.
Gotcha.
For now.
I
Might
gotcha.
add some more later.
Yeah, on end.
Well, we really like the Cummins for this application because, you know, the Cummins B engines and stuff are proven. You can go down the road to H&R AgriPower and they carry Cummins filters, or
They got all the
the
service
truck
parts.
shop, which we carry them too. But
Right.
a lot of people have Perkins engines, which are great, but there aren't a whole lot of Perkins places you can go down the road and buy filters for.
Yeah.
John Deere is another one that is a really common engine out here in the ag world,
Okay.
and they're easy to find parts for too.
I didn't know that.
And whenever the power's out and you're running 24 hours a day, you need some fuel filters, and you don't need to wait on them 2 or 3 days to come in being shipped in, you know.
When you say John Deere, all I think about is an old tractor with something hooked up to the PTO.
Yeah.
You know, that's the power that's on the way.
They've actually been in the game for a long time though.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, probably I'd say 50 or 60 years they've been supplying engines. Now they don't necessarily make the generator part, but they supply the engines.
Okay.
Do y'all service these for so long, or how's the warranty and service and how's all that work?
So a pretty standard warranty is 2 years, and that is also up to I think 1,000 hours, which these don't normally see that many hours unless there is a big problem like an ice storm.
Right.
And we normally come out and service them once a year. We have some customers that'll have us come out up to 4 times a year just doing inspections, you know.
Sure.
Some of these have mechanical belts and they can start slipping if somebody's not watching it. And some of these farmers, they'll have like 4 generators per farm, you know.
Oh, wow.
So that's a lot to keep up with.
Sure.
It is.
On top of raising the chickens and everything that they have to do already.
Last thing they need to worry about is having power.
Right. But
Wow.
that preventative maintenance is it pays for itself. Like,
Oh, gosh.
when you have one big failure,
Yeah.
if it could have been prevented, it's like pennies on the dollar.
Well, that's one of them things that me personally, I would never even think or worry or over. I would just never even consider the generator until the power's out. And,
Yeah.
you know, we got to have it right now.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, the farmers, they get busy, and just like these guys, they're going to be running wild with chickens. When the power goes out, there's no telling what they'll be into. They want this. They just want something dependable.
There's so much of this that people aren't sure about, and I wasn't really. I mean, I knew about them, but I didn't know more than just what anybody else did, if that much. But the things, like I said, I had no idea y'all carried diesel power. Had no idea the sizes, ranges that y'all did, and so there's no application really that's as far as on a farm or residential size that you're, you know, that's going to be out of your wheelhouse, I would think.
Right. Or even commercial. We do some small business stuff too.
Sure.
But I really appreciate you and Chance coming out here and taking the time to learn more about it and educate other people at the same time.
Yeah,
Heck yeah, thanks. That's our whole point in doing these videos, is being able to put something in front of people that's useful to them, landowners, farm owners, residential, whatever it may be. When Kevin felt like this was something that really hits home with anybody that covers all that.
Yeah.
Especially with the storms and stuff we keep seeing.
Yeah.
You know, we keep talking about it, and you hear it all the time. People, I'm tired of hearing about the storms, but gosh, it just seems like to me that
they're not leaving.
It's just getting, it's the norm. This is the norm for us now. So until that changes, I think these are the things that we want to be aware of. So,
I agree.
My name's Jason Craddock. We're with Cornerstone Engine Solutions. Our direct number is 270-493-6627. Of course, we're on Facebook under Cornerstone Engine Solutions. Our website's cornerstoneenginesolutions.com. You can also send us an email at admin@ceskytn.com. So we do Northwest Tennessee. We do a little bit of Southern Illinois, Southeast Missouri, but mostly from, I would say, about Dyersburg, Tennessee, over to Dawson Springs, Kentucky.
Yeah.
That's usually what we're covering.
That's a pretty good area.
Yeah.
Yeah.